my friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Adele if you are new, and today I'm going to be talking all about my novel because I have not really shared any information about what I'm writing. A lot of you have been asking about my book in the sense of what's going on, who are the characters, what's the plot, because I haven't really shared any information about the book I'm writing. So I'm going to be talking all about my current novel, the one that I have been filming the progress of in my writing vlogs that I've been working on since NaNoWriMo of 2018, because all of you have been asking and I just want to share information like that so that we can all feel like we know my characters and like the plot and the setting and everything. I really want everyone to be like involved and like feel like they know the characters as well as I do. And I love my characters in my book, and I love this book. I worked really hard on it. I've spent a lot of time developing it, writing it, planning it, and I want to share that with you guys now. So, I do not have a title. We are calling it Project Orion, because Orion is the name of my main character, and I am the absolute worst when it comes to coming up with titles. So for now I'm calling it Project Orion, and for those of you who are curious, I went ahead and made a whole playlist and put every video, like every writing vlog, that I was working on this Project Orion novel, and I made a playlist just for that because obviously I'm planning on writing a lot more books, and I'm going to be documenting all of them, and so I thought it would be a lot easier to kind of separate them into like the different books. I'm still gonna have my writing vlogs playlist if you want to be able to find all of them, but right now I have made a Project Orion playlist and it's going to have all of the videos that are specific to me working on Project Orion. Okay, so Project Orion is an adult speculative fiction novel. I will say, however, I have thought about making it YA. It doesn't have any explicitly adult themes, but I don't know, I just kind of, when I started planning it, what I had in mind was just a regular kind of adult novel. It wasn't necessarily YA, because I feel like with a lot of YA, like the characters are like teenagers, or it has to do with coming of age, and that's not what this is. All of the adults are basically, or all of the characters are basically adults. So the current status of this book, I finished my first draft. If you may have seen all of my other writing vlogs, I documented that whole process, so I will go ahead and link my writing vlogs playlist up above if you want to go check that out. I will be starting my revisions in May, on May 13th, and I'm very excited about that. I am just itching to start editing it. I'm so excited to read it. Also, in case you haven't seen, here it is right here. Got this huge draft right here. I have not read it or looked at it since I printed it out. So yeah, I'm very excited to start revising. So in the first draft it has 78,208 words and 36 chapters. So Project Orion is set in a fictional, unspecified world. It's sort of steampunk, fantasy, sci-fi, soft fantasy, soft sci-fi, soft steampunk. It's not like super intense into any of those. It just kind of has a mix of all of them. That's just the style that I really like. The environment is sort of similar to BioShock Infinite and Dishonored, the first Dishonored. In case you have played those and know what I'm talking about, BioShock Infinite was like a huge inspiration for the setting and environment of it. I really, really love that style. And then I've actually never played Dishonored, but I was talking with Gavin, my boyfriend Gavin, about like world building stuff, and I was telling him like I can't find exactly what I'm thinking of. Like I was on Pinterest looking at pictures and stuff, and he was sending me like ideas, and I was trying to explain it to him, and then he sent me some Dishonored like concept art and like pictures from the game, and I was like, yes, that's exactly it. So Dishonored, BioShock Infinite heavily influenced the setting in this, in case you're curious, in case you know what I'm talking about. So it is set again in an unspecified world. Specifically, it's set in a territory called North Rim, and the territory, I guess, is like its own country. You know, it's got like a capital and like cities and stuff like that. So they have, I'm trying to decide or describe like the style kind of with like the BioShock Infinite. If you haven't like played those or know what I'm talking about, it's like sort of modern. It looks kind of old-timey, but there are futuristic aspects of it, so it's like retrofuturism, but I feel like when you say retrofuturism, everyone thinks of like the 50s and 60s and it's like super sci-fi, but that's not it. It's more like, it kind of looks like old-timey 1910s aesthetic, but it's like they have newer technology, sort of steampunky. So, to give a little background information so I can sort of describe the plot, 2 years before the book starts in this territory, there is a current king named Soren, and the estranged brother of the current king, Soren, the estranged brother, his name is Caius. He comes in and he basically storms it's not a palace, it's called the Hub, and it's like kind of the main government center building. So Caius storms the Hub. He's got a bunch of followers because he's like a cult leader. So he's a cult, I'm probably not explaining this in the best way. He's a cult leader, he has a bunch of followers. They storm the Hub, he kills his brother, and since he technically is next in line for the throne, he is the heir, and he takes over the throne. And then also during the attack, a lot of like citizens were displaced or kind of left the city because he's not really a good person. He's the main antagonist of this book, by the way. So a lot of people left or were displaced. It's very violent, awful kind of upheaval going on. So that was 2 years before the book starts. So since then, he has been ruling. He's not that great, and he and his like cult followers have kind of been in charge, and like his followers are called Watchers. So Caius and the Watchers are like the main sort of antagonists who are going after the protagonists during this book. Also, one more bit of background information, there are air pirates in my story. That's kind of a huge part, but there are air pirates, and they're like bounty hunters and smugglers, and some are shady, you know what I mean? They're very morally gray, very roguish type people, and they usually just smuggle things. It's usually like transport or just turning in bounties and getting money. They're not the best of people, but they're not like criminals. So I have all of my documents here. So I have, for each character, I have like a character profile, and for each character I wrote kind of like a little bio. It's just like a short little paragraph about them and their motivation and who they are, and it's just like a quick little blurb about the character. So since I've already mentioned Caius, he is the main antagonist of my story. I'm going to read his little thing. He is 42 years old, he is older, so his little personality summary thing is, I'm going to just read this word for word. Caius is an aggressive but calm, power-hungry heir to the throne turned cult leader. He is incredibly persuasive and level-headed, which works to his advantage when recruiting unknowing people into his cult. Although calm, he has a temper and can snap at any moment, but can usually keep his cool and presents himself as calm and reasonable on the outside. He felt disadvantaged and alone while growing up, and still harbors these feelings and grudges, which has made him selfish and uncaring in most situations. Caius is charming and suave, which attracts most people, but is not loyal to any one person and can switch sides and moods at the drop of a hat. He is humorous but self-centered and usually has an ulterior motive. So that is Caius, my antagonist. So, now, getting into the actual book and the actual story that happens. Orion is my main character. She is the main protagonist. She is 22 years old. She is an air pirate / bounty hunter, and she's super great, and I love her. I'm gonna go ahead and read her little thing as well. Orion is a charming, daring, and cocky air pirate with a thirst for adventure. She is driven by her desire for money and individuality. She wants nothing more than to live an exciting and dangerous life in order to make a name for herself and live a life she's always wanted. She is one of the best air pirates and bounty hunters Nuvox has seen, racking up more hits and credits than any other bounty hunter. She is charismatic and clever, but distrusting of anyone that gets too close. Besides her crewmates Jens and Luca, of course, she is known to be quick-witted in dangerous situations and has survived things that would have killed most. She is playful and sarcastic, especially with her victims. Money is her motivation, and she will do almost anything to fulfill her greedy and lavish lifestyle. So yeah, she's super fun, and she's arrogant and cocky, and she's very adventurous and kind of dangerous, and I just really like her. She's basically everything I'm not. So I'm going to read the little things for her two crewmates. So there is Jens, who is 38 years old, and he and Orion have actually been together for a long time, not dating, but he's more of a father, maybe not a father, like an uncle figure to her. He's been with her for a long time. So Jens is a loyal and caring air pirate and mechanic who puts his worth in his hands and always wants the best for others. He is usually the one to crack a joke to lighten the mood and is incredibly loyal to the people he surrounds himself with. He works well with his hands and prides himself on his skills with mechanics, repairs, and shotguns, or any other heavy weaponry, in parentheses. A pleasant man, Jens is protective of his friends, and many see him as a fatherly or uncle figure because of his personality and age. Although he looks tough and intimidating with his prominent facial hair and muscular build, Jens is soft and caring on the inside. His past follows him like a shadow, and he can sometimes let these tragic thoughts get the best of him, but Jens is a tough, loyal, and sacrificial teddy bear who will go to any means to protect the ones he loves. So he's like this big dude. He's got like a big mustache and a beard. He's super... I love all my characters. He's so fun. He's so great. He's very soft, and he cares about Orion a lot. Oh, also, I have a bunch of, like, what are they called? Myers-Briggs MBTI stuff, if that would help you get to know my characters a little bit better, I guess. I have, like, their star signs and all this stuff. So, going back to Orion, she's an ESTP. She's a Sagittarius and an extrovert. Jens is an ENFP. He is a Gemini and also an extrovert. And then I had Caius. Caius is an INFJ, a Taurus, and an introvert. I'm actually an INFJ as well. Did not plan that. I planned all of this a very long time ago. What I did with that for the MBTI thing was, because they had the test online, I went through the test like 6 different times for all of my like main characters, and I took the test of like as if I was in their head, and I was taking it like I was them and picking the things they would pick, and you know, that's what I got. And then the other third person in her little crew, it's Orion, Jens, and Luca, and she's 18 years old. And she is still like relatively new to their little gang. She actually joined 2 years before the book starts when the attack happened, because she was actually living in the hub when the attack happened, and she was kind of displaced from her family, and Orion and Jens found her and kind of just took her in. She is an ISTP, a Leo, and an ambivert, which is both extrovert and introvert. Also, I'm a Leo. With what I did with the zodiac signs, I just have the sun sign. Obviously, if you know anything about astrology, there are a lot more, but I just did the sun sign, and I went through like the basic descriptions of each sign and picked the ones I thought were similar to the characters. Luca, I love her. She's one of my favorite characters to write because she is so much fun. So her little blurb is, Luca is a lithe teenage girl with a penchant for trouble and a flair for dramatics. As an air pirate and bounty hunter, she excels at the fast-paced and often dangerous lifestyle. She thrives in environments that let her express herself and her somewhat odd interests. Luca is wild at heart, enjoys causing mischief, and may not always have the best social etiquette. She is highly distrusting and keeps her guard up around people she doesn't know, but is always observant of her surroundings. Much like Orion, she craves adventure. While Luca is a little odd and doesn't immediately come to mind when you think of loyal, she is witty and quick and always knows how to bend a situation to her benefit. So she's super fun to write. She's one of my favorite characters. She's just really like quick-witted and cunning, and like she's very observant. She is usually the one that, like Orion and Jens, they have her kind of stake out a situation to figure out like what's going on. She's just really good at like reading body language and facial expressions and stuff like that. She's super fun. I like her a lot. So they are the main 3, which there are actually main 6, but at the beginning they're the 3 that are like the main people in Orion's crew. Again, Orion is the protagonist. The book is written through her point of view. It's like third person limited through Orion, but Jens and Luca are like her 2 like ride or dies. Now I'm introducing 2 more characters who are also main characters, but they're not quite there at the beginning of the book. So we have Maxis and Vigil, who are 2 of their biggest rivals. They're also air pirates. So we have Orion, Jens, and Luca in a crew, and then Maxis and Vigil are in their own crew, and Maxis, I guess, is kind of like the leader of their crew, or like the face of it. And so Maxis and Orion hate each other. They are the biggest rivals ever. They are just like, it's kind of like a game of cat and mouse. They're always at each other's throats. So Maxis, INFJ, He is a Taurus and an introvert. He is 20 years old. He's also probably one of my favorite characters. Maxis is a caring, loyal, and clever air pirate who, while intimidating at first on the outside due to his quiet nature, is an insecure dreamer on the inside. He is driven by his desire to protect his younger sister Suri and make the best life for them. He can sometimes be loyal to a fault and can let his emotions get in the way, but always tries to make the best decisions for him and the people around him. He doesn't always trust others right away, but goes out of his way to ask for help if he needs it, and warms up quickly to strangers who need help. Maxis can be pessimistic at times, but that won't stop him from dreaming of a day when he and Suri can live together peacefully away from the looming threat of attack that has followed him for years. So he's super great. He's very sensitive and emotional and very caring and clever, but we don't see that side of him at the beginning because they are rivals, and it's written through Ryan's point of view. She hates him, and so he's just kind of seen as a bad rival. And then Vigil is his partner, and he is an INTJ Virgo introvert. He is 46 years old. He's really cool. I love all my characters so much. He's super cool. He's not like the most fun to write, but I love his background so much. Like his backstory, he's a really cool character. So Vigil is a quiet but reliable loner with an extensive background in security and administration. He prides himself on staying true to his word and getting the job done. Although he doesn't talk much, Vigil is observant and has a logical and straightforward way of thinking and finds the most efficient way to do things. He can be loyal to a fault, even if it means risking his life to keep a promise. He values his close relationships dearly, even if he doesn't always say it. Vigil tends to keep to himself but is always close by in times of trouble. Okay, now that I have the main sort of characters out of the way, there's one more main character, but she's not here yet. So, at the beginning of the book, so now basically the inciting incident that happens near the beginning, which gets the whole story going, is, I don't want to get into too many details about how things happen because I don't want to like give my whole story away, but basically one day Orion spots this young girl who actually has been like on the wanted list for a really long time, for about 2 years, and she has like the highest bounty ever. It's like tons of credits, which are like the money system. So Orion spots this girl who has been like this elusive, like wanted person. None of the air pirates have ever been able to find her. No one can turn her in, even though she's like the most wanted. So Orion sees her in the street. She's like, I have to get her and turn her in to get the bounty. She goes to get her and capture her. Someone attacks Orion and knocks her out. She goes unconscious. She finds out it was Maxis and Vigil, and they have her hostage in their ship. Also, the ships are like airships, kind of like zeppelins and airships, stuff like that. So basically it turns out that the little girl, her name is Suri, and she is Maxis's younger sister, who they have been apart for a long time, and they thought the other person was dead. So Suri is Maxis's sister, and basically the inciting incident that happens is Maxis and Vigil ask for Orion's help getting Suri out of the city. So Maxis wants to, now that he has found out that his sister is alive, he wants to get her out of the city because Caius is the one who put the bounty on her head. So Caius really wants to get Suri, turn her in. We don't know why, but he wants Suri really bad. And Maxis, he's like, oh shoot, that's my sister. And so he asks for Orion's help getting Suri out of the city and away from Caius. And Vigil has a contact in these islands called the Cardan Islands, and it's like on the edge of the continent or territory. So he's like, come with us, come help her, get her out of the city. And Orion's like, heck no, I want the girl to turn her in to get the money, because Orion basically just wants money. And so Maxis basically offers all of his money, everything he owns, and he'll give up his like air pirate life if she accepts. And so Orion's like, okay, wait, because since he's her biggest rival, she doesn't want him to be an air pirate anymore. She can get him out of the way, she can have all the other bounties to herself. So she eventually agrees, and basically the first half of the book is following their journey to get to the island, to get to the contact there. So let me read Suri's little thing, because she's also the she's like the final main character. So there are like 6. So we have the regular protagonist and the other 6 are kind of like, they're like in a crew, they're traveling together, you know what I mean? So Suri is an INFP, a Libra, and an introvert. She is 11 years old. Although young, Suri is a gentle spirit with a knack for making others feel better. She is smart, strong, and empathetic, and always knows how to brighten a situation. She can be distrusting and timid because of a rough childhood, but trusts her brother fearlessly. She is mature for her age and often understands difficult topics. So basically the book, or at least the first half of the book, just follows their journey to the island to find the contact, to put Suri, or bring Suri to the contact to keep her safe. And Orion is, you know, it deals with their relationships and getting along since they hate each other. Both groups just trying to work together and live peacefully together on this journey. Then around the midpoint, they reach the island, they find the contact. I'm not telling you who it is because it's kind of a surprise. And there they find this growing rebel base called White Cloak, and it's full of all the people who were displaced from the attack 2 years ago, who either displaced or left because they don't like Caius. So they find this huge community of people who, you know, like refugees and stuff like that, and so they decide to help stay and fight, and because they're planning an attack on the hub at Caius to kick him out again or kill him. Also throughout this whole journey, Caius and the Watchers are following them on their tail. So yeah, they decide to stay and help fight, and then I'm not gonna give away like the end or anything, or like all the details of what happened, but that's the basic plot of my book. The kind of main overarching theme is that it's okay to ask for help and to learn to trust others, and that it's good to have friends and people on your side. Other important factors that are in this book and that I just like to write in general is that there are very inclusive themes and characters. I have a diverse cast of characters. I love writing about different types of people, and I think it's important to represent different types of people in your writing. And so I just like to make sure I include a lot of different things. It's just all very inclusive, and I'm really proud of that, and I think it's important. So, you know, in regards to race, gender, sexuality, able-bodied versus non-able-bodied. For example, Orion is disabled, my main character is disabled, and I just think it's important to write about these certain themes. So I think that's about it. That's my book, Project Orion. I am so excited to finally share all of this with you. I will be talking more openly from now on about my book and what I'm writing and what's going on. Also, I'm going to be, I have character boards, like character aesthetic boards, like on Tumblr and Pinterest and stuff. I love those. So I have those for my main characters, and I'm going to be posting those on my Instagram story. I have a highlight for writing on my Instagram, if you know how the stories and the highlights work. So I'm going to be posting the character boards on my Instagram story. You can go check it out if you have missed it within like the time frame it went up. It will be in the highlights. I'm also thinking about posting them on my Tumblr. If you didn't know, I have like a writing, like a side blog, like a write blur on Tumblr. Although I've had Tumblr for a long time, but I never used it, like before I made my writing blog, I never used Tumblr for like my own personal stuff. I would just use it to like look at and reblog pictures and stuff. So now that I have a writing blog, I'm trying to figure out how to like use it to like brand it and like have my own personal stuff, but it's so hard and it's confusing and I don't really get it. So I'll try my best, but I might post them on there as well. So my Tumblr and my Instagram will be linked in the description below if you want to go follow those, and make sure you keep up to date on Project Orion. Hi, hello, it is the future me who is currently editing this video, and I wanted to mention that I forgot to, that I will also be sharing my Pinterest board for Project Orion in the description below. I'm going to have all of my like aesthetic boards for each character, like settings and stuff like that, just so you can get a feel for the kind of vibe and style and setting of the book. So I will be linking the Pinterest board down below. Please check it out if you would like to know some more. And so yeah, I will take it back to the video. So make sure to go follow me and check all that out. I think that's all I have to say. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you're all excited about my story. Please leave any comments down below. I love reading your comments and I always try to respond to every single one. Comment any, what you think of my characters, of my story, anything like that, and tell me about your characters and your story because I love hearing all about it, and I think it's a good way to kind of bond with all of you and reach out to other writing friends and stuff like that. Always feel free to DM me on Instagram or talk to me on here, anything like that. I'm always open to just talking about writing or anything, really. So yes, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I cannot wait to share many, many more things about my writing with you guys. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video.